Cat Star Shame here, and I wanted to come back and make a video called Why Men Need Physical Touch. And I wanted to know why men love physical touch. Now, there are some women out there whom don't understand why men like sex. Well, they got part of it. Part of it they're correct about. Yet, they want to bust a nut. But I think there's a little more to it than that, ladies. Okay? I want you to take, for example, this picture I have here. Now, of course, they're riding down a hill in this scene, down a grassy hill on a carpet. In this scene, anyway, right? And as you can see, May, who is a machine, by the way, she is an AI in the show, okay? And she is hugging Kazuya. Now he's shocked. Look at his face. Look at his face. Okay, he's shocked that she would do something like that. Now, of course, she's a machine. She is programmed to act the way she does. And it's not that much different from a stripper getting paid to dance for a man, let's say. Because, again, she's a machine. It's a machine, okay? And much like that machine, much like this machine right here, she's a machine, she's an AI. It is programmed to act a certain way. Not that much different from an employee or no, rather a stripper who's getting paid to dance for a man. Now, why is that important? Well, because she can't care, right? She is programmed to act that way. Now, why do men feel the need to go towards these other alternatives? Well, could it not be that sometimes in their marriages, right, their wives might, not all wives, but isn't it possible that some wives could be neglecting their husbands from physical touch, from using that rather, as a way to gain what they want? I know some women will tend to do that. Some. Not all, by the way. I understand it's not all women. But there are some women out there who will use physical intimacy and sex to manipulate a man. And yes, men should be very careful with whom they choose and stuff like that. But the reason men go towards these other alternatives is they might find themselves in the unfortunate position of being with a wife whom uses sex as like a bargaining chip. You know, they piecemeal it out. Here, you did this one thing for me, so I'm gonna do this one thing for you. It can't be like that, because if a man wants that type of situation, ladies, honestly, again, he can buy it. He can buy it. He can buy an AI. He can buy all these other alternatives for that if he wants it to be something you feel as though you have to do, right? He wants you, right? I'm sure a lot of men would ideally like it, right, to be a situation in which their wife is willing to do it because she wants to do it. It's like a gift, right? Not just sex in the bedroom, right? I'm not just talking about that, by the way. I'm talking about physical intimacy and physical touch as well as that. Because if we wrap it all up together, right? What is sex but a bunch of physical intimacy in the sexual act itself? And why does it make a man feel really special? Well, I believe it makes men feel really special, whether it's coming from this type of situation, or a stripper, or corn, because they're doing they're touching their private area. It makes men feel some type of way, and yes, you could say that when they're doing they're touching the private area, they're just busting a nut. They're just doing it to bust a nut. Yes, it takes care of that part, but the other part of it, the other part, where it's not a transaction, where it is someone that's genuinely giving it to them, who is a human, and it's not an AI. It's not a stripper. It's not. It's not a. It's not corn, right? When it is someone genuinely giving it to him because she wants to give it to him, that physical intimacy, I mean, right? Not just sex, but encompassing it all, right? Physical intimacy in general, right? Like this, or in the bedroom, when when the person he's with is giving it to him and giving him physical intimacy in many forms, right? Both in the bedroom and outside the bedroom. It can make a man feel really valued by his woman, by his wife, by his girlfriend. And if that's not happening, and a woman is just using a man's say for his money, or she's just using it to get to his resources, well, he could just get that situation with a stripper. He can just get that situation with buying an AI. I mean, a lot of these companies that make these AIs, or we're getting pretty close to where we can make our own maze, right? Well, men can buy that situation with money. That same alternative that a lot of other women would be offering, say in a marriage where she's just piecemealing it out. So ideally, a man wants to be in a situation where he's with a woman who genuinely likes him, I think. Right? I'm just giving my opinion here and my ideas, right? A man just wants to be with a woman who genuinely likes him and is genuinely willing to do it, willing to do those intimate acts, and not just sex, mind you, but outside the bedroom as well, to show that she cares, and it can make a man feel really valued, and make him valued to the point where he feels as though he's on the same level in her mind as she is in his, right? Does that not make more sense now? Of why men might want to feel some physical intimacy in their relationships, whether they're married or whether they're boyfriend, girlfriend? Does that not make it more clear? So you have a better picture other than thinking, well, men just want to bust a nut. Well, that's part of it. But the other part that I just explained should tell you more. Okay? It should make you open your eyes and go, oh, okay, I get it now. Because the men whom unfortunately find themselves in the unfortunate position where their wife is just piecemealing it out, treating it as though it's a transaction between a stripper and a client. Well, men can buy that situation, but what they can't buy is the situation where she's genuinely giving it to a man whom she really admires and respects and loves, by the way. Money can't buy you that. But money can definitely buy you a good time with a attractive woman, for sure. For sure it can. Hell, it can buy you corn if you want to go down that route. But men genuinely want, I think a lot of men would genuinely like a situation in which it is genuine and it is real. Because men can buy these alternatives if they wanted to. And a lot of men do go towards these alternatives. But why? Because a lot of men, unfortunately, I'm just going to say a lot of men, unfortunately, find themselves in situations where their wife is just treating marriage and their relationship as the same thing as these other alternatives, when they're not supposed to be treated like that. When the situations aren't supposed to be like that. Because what does it become then? Well, it becomes a more expensive version of what he could already purchase with his money. He could buy corn. He could buy a stripper that's willing to, a lady of the night, let's say, who's willing to give him what he needs. At least the physical part. At least the corn part. He can buy that. He can buy the corn. He can buy the physical intimacy. But what he can't buy is a person who genuinely respects him, genuinely loves him, and is genuinely willing to show him that through her physical actions. And it makes a man feel really special when a woman chooses, of her own volition, to do it that way. Not being paid to, not because, well, he's paying my bills, so I guess I can give him a little something something. No, willing to do it because you want to do it with him. And that's the ideal situation a lot of men, I'm sure, would like to be in with their wives, for whom they find attractive as well, and for whom, for their wives to also, ideally you'd want to be with each other because you both find each other attractive, right? And you like each other, right? And I think that's the situation that a lot of men would genuinely like to be in if they could earn it. And men are willing to earn it. But the question is, are a lot of women these days? I'm not saying all, right? I understand that it's not all women, but it is a lot of them currently. Okay? A lot of women that I've seen on the internet are just treating it as a transaction. And they're treating it as though it's a situation between, well, I'm just going to say it, a stripper and their client, or they're treating it like a rent-a-girlfriend situation when it shouldn't be treated that way. If you genuinely want, well, a genuine relationship. If a man wants that situation, hell, he can just buy it. He can go down, he can fly down to Japan and rent a girlfriend and have her fake the whole thing. Fake it all. You know, if he wants to buy a lady of the night and have her fake it, he can do that. But what men really want, I think, is if they can earn it, is something real with a woman who really likes them and for whom they really find attractive, and they want to find a woman who also finds them attractive and they like each other very much. That's the ideal situation that I think a lot of men would like to be in. And that's how men really, that's what I think a lot, even the men who go down these other alternatives, guys, I believe that a lot of them know it's not real. Okay, even the guys who rent a girlfriend or buy the AI. Let's say one day there is a handmade May that's available on the market. Well, then guess what happens? Men will buy that. They'll buy it. They'll pay for it. They'll have it act, and it'll be kind of a replacement. It'll be kind of like a replacement, right? It'll act. You'll never have to pay again, but you won't be able to get the genuineness from a real relationship. It can never replace that. You know? And if you are a man who never got that in the first place, or never could have, who could have gotten that, right? But you didn't, because, well, the whole system, I'm sorry, the legal system, as well as women, a lot of women, not all, a lot of women, right, genuinely use men, right, a lot of men, and you saw that, and you're like, well, I throw my hands up in the air. I've seen enough men get hurt. I want to go my own way. I want to get these alternatives. Okay? But just know that those things are fake alternatives. And I understand why a lot of men go towards these other fake alternatives. Well, at least some of them, right? And the reason they do is because at least they know it's fake. Because here's another alternative situation, right, that a man can unfortunately find himself within. Well, it's the situation where a woman is telling him everything he wants to hear, but it's not true. She's just saying it. She's just doing it. She's just doing those things to get a means to an end, let's say. I think a lot of men genuinely want to be, ideally at least, in a relationship where their woman really does love them and it's not fake. Because men can buy fakery. Men can go down to Japan right now and rent a girlfriend for a few hours and have her act the whole way through. And the unfortunate thing is, guys, I think there's a lot of men who got divorced, who got taken for a ride by women who were just acting all along. And that's what drives men towards these other alternatives. Unfortunately, I think. I'm not saying all men would go towards these alternatives if faced with that terrible situation or terrible situations or alternatives. No, terrible situations, right? If faced with these terrible situations, and I'm not saying all would, but doesn't it make it understandable that some probably would? Some men would probably choose to be with an AI. Some would probably choose to be with these alternatives or choose these alternatives over marriage because a lot of women are faking it. I'm not saying all, but a lot are, you know? Like, there's a lot of amber turds out there who would fake it, I'm sure. And would it not drive some men, at least, towards these other alternatives? Does that not paint the biggest picture to you to make it to have you understand a little bit better? Does that not make any sense? Does that not make more sense? You know what I mean? So I hope I was able to at least describe and make and have you understand a little bit better. That's all. So that you have a bigger picture rather than just the narrow one you may have had when before seeing this. All right. It's not just sex that men want. It's physical touch and physical intimacy. And what is sex but a whole bunch of physical intimacy between a married couple? And what is physical intimacy between a boyfriend and girlfriend? Not sex, but physical intimacy like the one seen here. Okay? Like that can happen between a boyfriend and a girlfriend. You can give them a hug and maybe even a kiss on the lips or cheek. You can show him some physical affection. Right? And it can make a man feel really special. It can make a man feel really valued and loved. And I don't want women using that as bait to get what they want. I want them to genuinely, ideally like their partners that they're with, and I'd like them to like each other. All right? So that's all I have to say, and I hope I was able to shed some light on this topic that I think women do understand to some extent because, yes, men would like to very much bust that nut, but there's much more to it than meets the eye. There's much more to it than what women think, I think. And that's all I have to say.